It's time to tune into the show. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, let's go. Let's talk perspective. Okay, welcome to another episode of Let's Talk Perspective podcast with your host, Danita Baby. And I am here today with our guest, Eric Hudson. Did I say it right?
Hudson, yeah, that's right.
Okay, do you want to start off with introducing yourself?
Name is Eric Hodgson. A little bit about me. Grew up normal family up in, Orange County, California. Ended up waking up one day, joining the military.
Mm-hmm.
Woke up, so I'm gonna join the military. Marines were closed, so joined the Navy. Grew up to everyday household. Three older brothers. After joining the military, got stationed up in Washington State. My dad ended up getting sick with cancer, so they shipped me down to San Diego. 3 shoulder surgeries later, I ended up getting out. And now we're here in Texas.
I know. So, transitioning from California to Texas, what is that like? Well, let me ask you this: when did you move out of California?
So we moved here the end of 2019, so just before COVID.
Oh, okay.
So it was interesting to say the least. I was actually working as a police officer for the DOD down in San Diego.
Mm-hmm.
I decided that we were surviving in California, but we weren't thriving. I felt like I could do better for my family. So I ended up applying to the Department of Veterans Affairs as a police officer. They gave me a tentative offer. We packed up our house, sold our house. My wife moved in with her parents, and I moved here, lived on my best friend's couch for a little bit, lived on my brother's floor for a little bit, until we finally found the right place. And we found the right place after about 4 months of being separated, and the whole family came out, and now we're here.
I know. So let me ask you then, what is a major difference you feel coming here? Because clearly, obviously, you're a man that makes sacrifices and everything like that. But you say you didn't feel like you were thriving in California. So what was it like? The cost of living? Like, what exactly was it?
It was the cost of living. Gasoline was nearing at that time $4 or $5 a gallon, and driving 30-mile one way, 30 miles another way to work. And, the pay was kind of there, but wasn't quite there. I've always had dreams about living in Texas. And so, I applied, they shot me an offer, and I looked at my girlfriend at the time, who's now my wife, said, well, if we don't do it now, we never will. So we sold off, and we're gone. We're gone.
So do you love Texas now since you're here?
I absolutely love Texas. The people, the community, like our community, for instance. I mean, it's just everybody's together. I mean, they're going to have your differences, but nothing like back in California. Everybody's got each other's back. People here are more friendly. It seems like everybody's flocking here, and everybody's picking up the kindness and the gestures, and well, at least people I'm around, that it makes life a lot easier. Just being nice, being kind, being friendly, saying good evening, good morning, yes ma'am, no ma'am, things like that. That instills a lot into my children as well. So, the overall culture is night and day difference.
Yeah, I think living in here in Texas, and then I lived in Georgia for some years, almost 10 to be exact. There's definitely a different type of friendliness here, obviously, in Texas. And I definitely do love our neighborhood. It's a great community where we live, for sure.
I went to training in Georgia for a couple months, May, June, July. Wasn't the biggest fan.
Yeah, what part?
I was at I went to the
Was it Columbus?
No, it was just north of Jacksonville.
Okay.
We were just over the board. I can't remember the name of it. Golly. Brunswick. I'm sorry. Yeah, Brunswick.
Oh, Brunswick. Okay, okay.
Yeah.
I haven't been to that part. I know, like, I was in the Athens port and shorten it up when I came down here. I believe I came on a bus initially. Yeah, I think me and my kids rode on the bus and we ended up in Atlanta, and I was just up for a rude awakening there. It was definitely no, it was not the same kindness I have become accustomed to in Texas, for sure.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
I definitely understand where you're coming from with that. Okay,
Tell you what,
so
though, this Texas heat ain't no joke.
huh?
This Texas heat ain't no joke.
Oh yeah, I know. Well, wait a minute. Isn't California hot too, or no?
Not as hot. Not like this.
So it doesn't. It's probably just not humid.
Yeah.
It has all the seasons.
No. Oh
Okay.
no. I mean, we lived through Snowvid here. Come on now.
I'm just making sure. Okay, so let's continue with the interview. I'll be getting sidetracked. You know, you can always tell me to be quiet if you want.
No, you're good, man.
Because I can talk. Okay. Okay, so just kind of talking about how you did end up here, obviously in Texas, and glad that you know things are working out for y'all. So let's talk a little bit about before we get to talking about what it's like, you know, for the federal police officer. I would like to talk about some of your other things that you have going on in your as far as your fatherhood is concerned and your coaching. Any of that you want to share?
Oh man, life is busy. I got a 12-year-old, a 6-year-old, a 4-year-old. I was coaching 12U flag football there for a hot minute. Back in my right when I got out of high school, I was coaching high school football, thinking I'm gonna be a teacher and I'm gonna be a coach, and you know I'm gonna go to school. Well, that didn't work out too well. I ended up working full time, going to school full time, and working part time in my youth. And I got burnt out of school. I was like, oh, I can make money, so I ended up dropping all that and wasn't really doing much with my life, honestly. I was selling used cars at a Toyota dealership, and that's when I woke up and said, I'm gonna join the military. So I joined the military and became a master at arms, military police. Yeah, life is busy. It's kind of sorry, I ramble as well. I can
Oh,
go
no
on for
worries.
days. So I got out, was a roofer. I met my wife at a country concert. I she's standing in the back, called her up, and as you know, I was holding her hand. It's 2 days out of surgery. I was supposed to meet her at a country bar, and I didn't quite make it because of surgery.
Yeah.
Wiped me out a little bit. So fast forward here. Um, right now, I'm attending school. I was attending school full time. I go back and forth between full time and part time. Go back to school August 1st. Get my knee replacement surgery July 27th.
Yes.
Um, life is busy. Life is crazy.
Yeah.
Coaching, I love. Going back to coaching, I love coaching. It's probably one of my most favorite things to do. If anybody happens to see me that I coached back when they were in high school, or kids nowadays see me, go ahead and shoot me a holler, say hi. Yeah, life is
Definitely.
life. Life is always busy.
And you say you do travel volleyball. So do you still
My
do
daughter does
that?
travel volleyball. Yeah, oh yeah, she's she's my stepdaughter, but she's my daughter.
Yeah.
Um, I've had her since she was 4. So, um, yeah, she does travel volleyball. So throw that into the mix. And
Yeah.
my son wants to play baseball, and so you know, what do you got? You got to make room for your own kids. And I was coaching my nephews, so I'm coaching is going to have to get put on the back burner while they
Yeah.
recover from the surgery and deal with travel and club volleyball and baseball and all that other fun stuff. So, but coaching's where my heart at. I'll get back to it. I just need some time.
Yeah, that's it. You need some time. You're gonna need some time to heal too. But baseball, I wish my son had stayed in baseball. I think baseball is very personal. And it could be definitely a great community as well. And I really loved it, but he didn't stick with it. But I think that will be a great avenue for your son. You say your son, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
He's 6, so he's at that age where he needs to start getting into get involved in the sports and community, hard work,
Mhm.
maybe a little bit dedication, and you know,
Yeah,
typical growing
my
up.
yeah, my kids kind of like play all the sports, but baseball was it's just a different group of people. I'm not saying
Yeah,
you probably don't have the crazy ones that's raving and get mad, but I don't know. I can't explain it. It's just a different vibe. I don't know. It's just like maybe like kind of like how you would say our community, like they're more involved in, I don't know, they're more supportive. That's what I feel. I don't, or at
yeah,
least that was my experience in Georgia. So,
yeah. Well, that was me. That was our experience growing up too. Me and my brothers, we all played at the same ballpark, so we'd be there all day Saturday, Sunday, Sunday.
mhm,
Um, Everybody got to kind of know each other. Now, when I was coaching football, it wasn't like that. Their kids, they would kind of just
mhm,
come drop off their kids and say, "All right, coach,
mhm.
see you later." I was like, don't really know much about me. Come on.
Yeah. All right.
So
It's definitely different. Definitely different. Okay, so let's kind of talk about so you joined the military, you joined the Navy, right? You said?
I did. I went to join the Marine Corps and they were closed. So I went across the way and the Navy was open and let's join the Navy.
Okay, and so that's where your career in policing started, right? Was it
Correct.
or
I
was it
was
when you left? Because I was kind of
no, no, no. I was going to school for criminal justice because it was just something that my brother was doing. So I was like, okay, I'm going to go to school for criminal justice as well. Um, and then I joined the military police. Stayed at a lot of gates,
mm,
a lot of boring stuff. But then when I got out of the military, I kind of didn't know. I was kind of forced out in a way. I was mid-retired, so they told me in May I was going to get a medical board, and I was out by July. So within 2 months, I was trying to kind of sink or swim, trying to
right.
find something to do. So luck has it, I became a roofer. Of course, that's the smartest thing to do after 3 shoulder surgeries. Um, Became a roofer and was roofing the base I used to work at, and the DoD police chief said hi to her, and she said, "Hey, Hodge, you want a job?" Yeah, doing what? She said, "Get you off the roof, come be a cop for me." So, all
Mm.
right. So, Naval Base Coronado is DoD police.
Wow. So you know what? That's another thing too, because I thought in order to be a DoD police, you had to still be like active in the military, but obviously that's not the case.
There's 2 different sides. You have the military police, and then you have your civilian police force.
Okay.
So, as long as you have a background of some type of police work, they'll take you in, and then they send you off to training for 3 months. Um, that's where Brunswick comes into play, and then you come back, and then you do your job.
Okay. Okay. And how long were you were the DoD police until you moved to Texas?
Correct. I
Right.
was DoD police from 2017 to 2019.
Okay, from 2017 to 2019. So what you do now, when we were talking, I told you I've never heard of it, and I'm not sure of how many other people might have heard of it either. But you said you are a federal police that works for the VA, right? Okay, can
Correct.
you tell us exactly what that means? Because this is the first time I've ever heard of it. I never knew the VA had their own police.
So basically, here it's all depends on jurisdictions. It's a long road to get into, but where we're at here, we deal with both Austin Police um, and us. So we have proprietary jurisdiction. So we can we can enforce the Code of Federal Regulations (CFRs), and it can either be a monetary amount, or it could be a warning. It could be stuff like that. So we handle federal regulations in here, drunken disorderly conduct, things of that nature is mainly what we get. But we do federal laws in here.
Mm.
Our jurisdiction ends at property line. Anything other than that, the locals come out and they'll handle it.
Right. So that just means that if something happens outside of the property line, that's not necessarily something you have to address, but you probably would if it was, a situation, I guess.
Depending on what it is, because you can either go a humanitarian route or we can't enforce laws out there, but when it comes to exigent circumstances, emergency circumstances, then we can kind of hop in. I mean,
Right.
it's very it's a very fickle situation because you have to do what's right, but they say you can't, I guess.
Mhm.
So you have to be able to make that judgment.
Right. So, but anything that takes place or happens within the VA, because that's another thing. Is it just the VA you work at, or would it be if you were at any VA?
It's just the VA that we work at. So our credentials are signed by the director of each VA.
Mhm.
Um, Basically down here we are it's called a CBOC, community based outpatient clinic. We're the second largest in the country. Um, our home base is up in Temple, and then there's another VA in Waco. So officers can go because our home base is Waco or Temple.
Mhm.
We can go to Temple, we can go to Waco VAs, and we can work there. But other than that, anywhere else, we have to stay within those three.
Right. Okay. So, while you're on duty, your job is, you said, to enforce the law, and is it also policing the people there? Like, what is the? You might have said it. Forgive me if you did.
No,
Um,
you're good.
but I'm just trying to make sure I understand, because I told you this is my first time hearing about it. So, but when you say enforcing the law, is that just on like people policing level, or is it more like, explain to me what you mean when you say that?
There's all sorts of things that happen here, like as far as drugs or drunks and things like that. We write a a monetary ticket for things
Mhm.
that are major. My main goal, I do less of the law enforcement and do more um, veteran representation, I guess you could say,
Mhm.
where there's issues, somebody's loud, somebody's obnoxious, they're not getting the support or the help that they need. So that's when I come into play and say, hey, come and talk to me. Let's get you the help that you need so we don't have to go down another route. All right, what do you need? All right, you need help here. Somebody's yelling at you here. You're not happy with your service here. All right, let me help you. I got you. So that's when I step in. And so it doesn't escalate to another situation. I handle it on that level.
Okay.
If
Okay.
does that make sense?
Yeah, yes, yes. It makes
Okay.
complete sense.
But
Because
as
that's
far
what
as we get traffic violations, speeding, so on and so forth. Same thing. Like I said, drugs in vehicles, people smoking pot in the parking lot, whatever. Same thing. You get a ticket, and yeah.
right. Okay. So I'm gonna touch on something else in a minute. But so
Yeah.
as far as uniform wise, is it the same as a local police officer? Or do y'all have different um
It's pretty much the same. We have our pistols, we have batons, we have our pepper spray, tourniquets, cuffs, everything same. It almost looks very similar
is it, yeah.
uniform. We haven't transitioned over to the taser side of the house. Of course, there's always word that we're going to transition to that because we are in a medical setting, and to use
Mm,
OC spray or pepper spray in a medical setting is not a very smart move. So therefore, you have to find another immediate tool to use.
right.
So they're talking about going over to the taser side. Body worn cameras, we just got those. Um, yeah.
So this is what I wanted to touch base on. So you mentioned something about, you do, in a sense, obviously have to communicate with the Austin police or whoever the
Mhm.
local police officers are.
Mhm.
What do you mean by that? Like, what does that look like?
As far as what every situation's different. Somebody has a warrant out for their arrest, or somebody's extremely intoxicated. We'll call APD and say, hey, will you take this guy down and book him? So he'll get a
Oh,
ticket on our side, and then he'll go on that side and get booked.
oh, okay. So you just mean that you might have to touch base with them if the situation gets out of control. But as far as
If it's something that we can't enforce, that's not in our regulations, we'll call APD and say, hey, we have this case. Do you guys want to come take it?
right. Okay, but y'all are not connected at all, basically, for the most part. Okay, so that's where I think I kind of got lost there, because I was like, wait a minute. It kind of sounded like maybe y'all still kind of have to communicate with each other. But what you're saying is you only have to communicate or call out local police enforcement if you need to enforce a situation that might have gotten out of control or could be out of your jurisdiction or something to that extent. Is that correct?
Correct. Or
Okay.
something gets to something that we, I guess, can't handle, I guess. Like, I can't touch on it, but yeah, there's certain
Oh,
exigent circumstances that we'll call that.
uh, okay, my apologies. My dog's got a
No,
little worked up there.
I got three of them. I know the struggle.
Okay, so another I had it kind of threw me off, but I'll get back on track. So I think I kind of got that clear, but y'all do kind of look alike. So I'm sure no one knows that there's a difference. Not look alike. I didn't mean to say that. The uniform looks the same. So I'm
Very.
sure people probably don't know that there's a difference between the police officers that they see in the VA office versus the local police officer.
We get that a lot. Oh, Austin PD, how you doing? It's like, nah, I'm VA police. Sorry.
Right. So, and we're not here. I do have to ask you a question, just out of my curiosity, and I hope I don't offend you when I ask you the question. But I'm just curious because it was on my mind earlier. So obviously, there's like this disconnection with not all police officers, some police officers, and just being Black in America, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you get any of that backlash? Do y'all ever have to deal with any of that backlash, even though you're not even associated with the local police enforcement?
All the time.
Oh,
All the time.
oh,
I want to say during COVID and the whole George Floyd incident, which you ask any police officer, the dude was guilty. Like,
right,
sorry, you're not. We don't want any part of that.
right.
That was hard being lumped into just a general
Mm,
a general group, I guess.
yeah,
Like, I judge nobody on nothing. I can be anybody's best friend as long as you get a good soul. You got a good heart, a good soul. I don't have an issue with anybody. Those are the people that I'm going to keep. I'm going to keep in my circle.
right.
During that, I do have to admit the hardest part is having to explain to a 10-year-old,
Mm,
F the police, kill all cops.
oh, wow. Yeah.
That's one thing that people don't see on the back end was, hey, daddy, what do they mean by this?
Oh, that's so heartbreaking. Oh,
And that's hard. I mean,
yeah,
that's 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 something I never thought in a million years I would have to do, and would never thought I had. Like, that never even crossed my mind. But
right.
having to explain to a 10-year-old, that's tough. That's
Yeah,
tough. You know, it's like, no, honey, I'm okay. Like, going to work. Don't worry, I'll be home tonight. That type of deal.
yes.
So
So was he like worried about was he concerned like about your well-being or just kind of
that's
what?
my oldest daughter. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that sounds like a very tough situation. I'm sorry you had to, be grouped together, but that's why I wanted to ask, especially since, the uniform looks the same. I was just curious because like I just told you, today is when I learned the VA police exist. If I go into a VA office, I would assume that you're with the local police and the building has paid you to be deployed to come out there and, surveillance or police that area. I wouldn't have known that there was something different.
It's not as bad as it once was. It's like the prejudice isn't there as bad as it was a couple of years ago, but you can still feel some people, saying "f you" or
Yeah,
"get out of here." I don't want to talk to you. Get out of my face. When, like I said, the problem with me is I'm trying to help. Like, I'm
right.
trying to fix the situation before we get anywhere else without being in trouble. So
Right. And unfortunately, I think we all kind of like just get placed in these groups. And the problem is just like we're not all the same, we're not all the same. And it's unfair. It really is unfair. or whatever. But that's all. I was just
No, no,
curious.
you.
So we
I told you, I'm an open book. I have no qualms, no quorums, none of that. Just I'm just me. You know, at the end of
yeah.
the day,
Yeah, I can tell you have a wonderful spirit, and I bet outside of the people, because to be honest, especially older, some people you're not going to be able to break out of what they feel and what's real to them, right? But
correct.
I still get the feeling though that you probably have good rapport with the ones that you see daily that come in there.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. And a lot of them, like, they'll come in and ask for me, "Hey, it's hot here. You know, it's hot here.
Mhm.
It's hot here." So I'll go out there and I'll walk them. I'll walk them through their appointment because if they're going to get loud, they're going to get aggressive, they're going to be angry. I'll sit there. Hey, calm down. Let's get over this appointment. Let's get on your way. Like, sit with them. They don't act up. They don't do anything. All right, now that's one situation that I've been able to hinder to get them the care that they need and get the care without the rest of the shenanigans that goes on.
Right. Or disrupting everybody else
Yeah,
that has nothing to do with it. Because
correct.
I deal with veterans and some of them they're frustrated. I don't even want to paint them as bad people or anything because I don't think so. I think they're just frustrated sometimes with the process, or if it takes longer. Some people don't have patience. I mean, it's a number of things. So I could just imagine your day-to-day job. I have a question with that.
Yeah,
Has
yeah. What's
there
going on?
has there been anything outrageous? Like, what is the most craziest thing that you could think of that probably happened that you had to intervene? Which I'm thinking it wouldn't be much because I don't feel like people go and act up as a VA department, but you just never know.
That there's definitely fights. There's definitely fights here.
Physical fights?
But, yeah, there's
Okay.
definitely fists thrown and actually people hitting people with sticks and canes
Oh, not
and
the
I can't go
cane.
too much into detail, but
Yeah.
during that whole MAGA shenanigans, you know, people going back and forth with that and
Yes.
come on, let's just be nice. We're at the VA. Let's get the care we need and go home. Come on.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, you don't see it as much here, but on the DoD side of the house, here's more. There's a lot of transients and a
Mhm.
lot of drugs and, like I said, drinking and intoxication, and they're just trying to get the help that they need. All right, well, I'm not going to tag you for being drunk in public. Let's get you sobered up. Let's get you shipped up to Temple. Let's go to detox. Let's get you. They have was it 390-day programs or 180-day programs up
Mm.
there. Hey, let's get you the help you need. Let's go. Like veterans, like for me, being a vet and watching a lot of these guys go down the holes in the and just the absolute despair that they go through. Like I feel like my job is to get on their side and like, all right, dude, let's do this.
Right.
What do you need from me? What can I help you with? Let's I'm very much more of a patient advocacy side of the house rather than honestly I'll probably get in trouble than the law enforcement side of the house because that's what means more to me than writing a ticket.
Right. Right. So,
So
do they come there to get help too? Like if they were going down that slope? I didn't even know they offer that.
yeah, oh yeah, they're up in Temple. They have detox for narcotics and alcoholism, or they can ship them, or they can outsource it to local communities if they don't have the means to get up there or transportation or it's full up there. It's called community care where they can forward them to a local community center.
Okay. I didn't know that. So that's definitely something. I'm sure other people might not know that either, but that's good to know. But that's only for veterans, correct?
Correct.
Okay, perfect. That's good to know though. I didn't know they had that. That's wonderful because a lot of times they do end up, down that hole
Mhm.
or whatever with struggling with the addictions. And yeah, so um yeah,
It happens a lot. We
yeah.
see it quite often. Um, but just trying to get them the help and get back on the track is the main thing. Um, After this, I'll tell you about some situations that can't be blasted too far out there, but
Okay, wait. You can't. Okay, so I think that was the main question I wanted to ask last. So what was it that you wanted to share?
As far as
Oh, is that going to be off camera?
oh yeah, that's off.
Okay.
That's off. That's off.
Okay, definitely. So, that was the main thing. I just kind of wanted to, since you told me about the VA policing, I just kind of wanted to talk about that, kind of make the awareness to other people. And I definitely wanted to see if you received any backlash or anything like that. And it's
Yeah.
heartbreaking. Huh?
To any of the veterans out there, if you're having an issue with your care or have an issue with a certain employee at the VA, if the VA police is there, if they're around, flag them down, say, hey, I need some help. Can you offer me some advice to how I can mitigate this situation? They'll be glad to help you mitigate.
Hmm. All right, so y'all heard it first. So why don't you go ahead and tell the people where to find you at?
Um,
Like your social
I
media.
work out at the VA in Austin, the Austin Outpatient Clinic. If you guys need help with anything, like I said, you guys always find me, Sergeant Hodgson. Um, all the guys in my crew, if they can't find the answer, we'll find one for you. I promise.
Hmm. Well, we definitely appreciate that. And did you want to share any of your social media spots or?
Uh, I don't really do social media too much. It ends up getting you in trouble in the long run. I'll go on play on Facebook and TikTok from time to time, but Instagram and all that other stuff, nah, I don't really go on it too much.
All right, all right. Well, I definitely want to thank you for being a guest on the Let's Talk Perspective podcast. Very appreciative of that. And yeah, so I guess that's it.
All right. Well, thank you for the opportunity. You guys want to see me on here again? Don't be afraid to ask. I have
Yes,
a little busy schedule, but shoot me a holler, or you can shoot me a holler, and we'll keep going on with it.
yes, definitely have to link up again.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.